Richard Hammond, thanks for talking today.
Yeah, pleasure.
So the new show is The Grand Tour. First episode premiered on Amazon Prime on Friday, and you guys have 11 more episodes coming out weekly?
Yep.
Okay. So the opening was pretty epic, but also maybe even a tad wistful. Was it meant to reflect on what you and the other guys have been going through, making this transition from Top Gear to this new show on Amazon?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we necessarily take the time to reflect or engage with anything as closely as that on our show. We've always got by simply charging ahead and trying to do the best show we can. It felt right at the start of this show to say, look, we're moving on. This is a transitional stage. We've been blessed with an amazing opportunity as three middle-aged guys on what previously we made an enormous television show about cars. Now we've been given the opportunity to reinvent, and hoping very much that people will come with us and enjoy the ride. And thus far, from all that we've seen, that appears to be the case.
And the first episode also featured the Holy Trinity, the 918 Spider, P1, LaFerrari. Obviously, you guys tried to get that done on Top Gear, so how did you get it done for this show? How long was it in the works?
We really wanted to get the three hypercars in the first show because we wanted to say, look, we're making a car show the best way we can, the best car show we can, so we wanted to have those cars in it. How we went about actually getting them, usual means, annoying, nagging, keeping on at them. I mean, you've never met Andy Willman, our producer, the boss, who is the world's most persistent human being. And when he decides he wants something, he'll go and get it. So yeah, I think it was largely him. He just annoyed the hell out of them until they gave it to us.
Yeah, it seems like it will require a bit of persistence to get those
It did.
three. As far as other stuff on the show, it seems like kind of a familiar format, similar to old Top Gear. Did you guys ever think about really changing things up, or did you just sort of want to keep stuff from the old show?
Look, it's a really difficult thing about what we changed and what we didn't change. For one thing, do please know that there was no cynicism or science in the creation of the show initially. We never sat down and said, right, if we do this, it'll get this part of the demographic, and if we go for this, it'll gather them in as well, and then that part of the world. It never was done like that. We simply set out to make the best car show we can. We've been doing it for 13, 14 years, and we now have the chance to start again. We haven't wasted that opportunity to reinvent, revitalize, renew. That's great at our stage in our careers, but equally it would be artificial to try and stop being us. What we have and what people seem to like is our particular take on the motoring world, looking at our chosen subject through the prism of the viewpoint of these three Brits. We wouldn't throw that away. That would be really silly. So we're still us. It's still familiar. People come to us because they like what we've done historically. We would be stupid to throw all that away and artificially recreate ourselves as something else. We did what we've always done, but we've changed it up. It's now shot in 4K, the cinematography, filmically and editorially, it's been enhanced. It's set to 11 instead of 10.
I'm sure fans are very pleased to sort of keep that familiar format. So we had a lot of new cars on the first episode. Will we see more older stuff or perhaps less expensive stuff? Like, what kinds of cars can we expect in the later episodes?
When you say less expensive stuff, that always sounds like a loaded question. Are you saying what? Because most people can't afford a £1.5 million hypercar. You're
well, like,
right.
I know you guys love hot hatchbacks, so like
We do.
stuff
Love
like
a hot
that,
hatchback. We will still keep, and it happens automatically. Again, we don't sit and try and artificially generate a spread of cars across a season. We simply follow the subjects, the opportunities, the topics as they arise. But yeah, of course we do. And we're never happier as the three of us than when we're driving around in some hideous old leaky relic. We enjoy that massively because those cars have more personality to say about themselves. They have flaws and faults, and that's where the interest lies. Although it has to be said, the industry as a whole right now, car industry, as well as the television industry, is undergoing a massive sea change. So there's never been a better time for us in making a show on TV. When TV is changing, we're now delivering it in a new way. There's not been a factual show shot in 4K, travelling around the world and delivered on demand before. It's never happened. Likewise, our subject, the focus of that show in that changed environment, is also changing hugely. There are new cars coming out with new forms of engine, new forms of propulsion, which means manufacturers at last have the chance to get it wrong again. So we have the chance to say, that doesn't work, which hasn't happened for decades.
So, yeah, because it seemed like you guys suffered quite a bit in the old cheap car challenges on Top Gear, but you really do like driving around in these older beat-up cars.
Yeah, we love the challenges. We love driving around in old cars that challenge in difficult and inappropriate circumstances. It's great fun, of course it is. I mean, it is genuinely punishing. We are often asked, the places we've shot in the past on the old show, no doubt we'll do as extreme again in the new. But the North Pole and deserts and jungles, in the Arctic and volcanoes and all those places, people often go, yeah, but you stay at a hotel around the corner, really, don't you? No! You can't if you're in the middle of the Namib Desert. We've just been filming there. There are no hotels. It's a desert. So you have to camp, you have to rough it. And it's not, remember, obviously, it's not just us three when we're there. There's a crew of 40 to 50 people. It's huge. So the camaraderie, the fun to be had, along with the logistical challenges of keeping that many people on the road, fed, warm, safe, with all the equipment being charged and maintained. Every night the camera crews have to strip the cameras down, put them on charge, download all the footage. Especially now we're shooting in 4K. I mean, just the business, the data storage. We have to have a digital input team now, ingest team rather, coming with us all over the world. So there's a couple of guys that spend their lives sitting in the back of a van, ingesting all the stuff that we've shot.
That must be a fun job.
They have a great job. The 4K thing has changed a lot for us because obviously, expense-wise, our annual spend now on data storage is huge chunks of data coming in. And in the field, just the cameras cannot carry cards big enough to carry much of this stuff. So the digital ingest team, they are with us constantly downloading that stuff onto drives. What that means is we have two guys who are not out up to their necks in mud filming with us. They're in their van and they've watched everything, all of the rushes. And remember, this is thousands of hours on special. And that's really useful. That's something we've never had. So you can go and talk to these two guys. Did you see that bit about, oh yeah, is it, oh it worked, good. Or I'll go and, oh I'll tell you what, if I go and find a little bit like this, it'll go with that and work and make something special. So that's one of the many ways in which this new way of working is bringing new stuff to us.
So you talked about the 4K and the amount of data storage, the number of people you bring on each shoot.
Yeah.
How does the budget for all this stuff compare to Top Gear's?
There's so much speculation across the media all over the world as to the amount of money we're supposed to be spending. The budget isn't massively, wildly beyond what we were spending on the old show. It's how it's spent that matters. And believe me, it is being spent on camera. It wouldn't do for us. We felt from the outset, okay, we're going to stick together because we are better together. Something happens when we all work together. There's four of us with the team around us. Something happens that won't happen otherwise. So that's loyalty. And if fans are going to be loyal to us and come with us, and we have to give them our best, we have to say we have really tried here. So part of that, as well as the editorial, the creative, part of that is simply budget, is simply say, okay, let's go to incredible places. Let's afford ourselves the time occasionally. If a director says, oh, can I just wait a bit longer to get that? Yeah, okay. Time is money, and we now know it's our business. And when we're there, 52 of us in the field, every hour is money. But we are spending that time, making that effort, because we've got to give people back. Okay, you've come with us. Well, that's the best we can do. There it is.
What's it like working for an American corporation instead of the BBC?
I think whoever we were working for, this would feel very different now, because at the BBC, it was like being in the military or at boarding school. Everything's done for you, really. We simply had to make the show. Then we came out, Amazon licensed the show from us, so we had to set up a production company to make it. Suddenly, we're involving ourselves in things that we've never had to think about before. I personally loved the process. In fact, we all four have, at various points, really enjoyed that. Our job remains to come up with ideas, to work up with ideas that other people in the team come up with, to editorialise around them, and to be there to make a great show. We know that, but equally the running of the business has been really good fun, and employing a new team, and we took all the original crew with us. So everybody with us out in the field, we've worked with them for 10, 15 years. Every camera operator, sound technician. But the production in the office, a few key players are with us. I'm in serious producer level. But the rest are new, which means we've got this huge resource now of fresh minds that haven't yet been tainted by experience, hating to sound cynical, we'd reached a point, inevitably in the past, when somebody would think, I've got an idea, but no, we won't do that. These guys are new, so they'll just throw the idea out there, and who knows? 1 in 10 of them might be brilliant. So we've loved that process of building a new team.
How big is that team overall? How many people do you
There's
work on the
about
show?
30, I'm going to guess, I think it's about 36, 38 of us in production. But then obviously there's a lot more when you bring in a crew, so it's a big operation. And when we're out, we're going to do specials again, where we go off on a big long journey. And when we're doing that, yeah, there'll be 40, 50. It's a huge undertaking. It's a big circus. It's great fun.
Oh, I'm sure. Looks like you guys are having tons of fun in the
Yeah,
trailer.
we do. No, we have, of course we have fun. We have to. And the crew does. We all do. That's not to say it isn't sometimes tougher than at other times.
So for one segment, like say the Holy Trinity segment from the first episode, how long does it take you to actually film all of that?
Well, once the idea was sort of conceived and produced up, and actually the time in that one was getting the cars together and getting all the manufacturers to play ball and to play nicely and to agree to it. An average film or something like that one, I guess we were a couple of days at the track, would be a couple of days. So you probably allow a week. Some pieces take 2 weeks. Very seldom do we get a film that's done in less than a couple of days these days, because it simply takes so long using the new kit for 4K. And if you're going to shoot in 4K, you've got to have the material, you've got to have the rushes, you've got to have the stuff to justify the technical quality, you need the creative quality to balance against that. So it takes time. It's none of it quick to make.
So you were talking a little bit about new ideas, old ideas. Where do you actually get the concepts for the episodes?
We have always operated and still do in an environment wherein anyone can come up with ideas, and that's critical, because you just don't know where a really good idea is going to come from. Don't forget, people often ask, are you going to run out? No, and there's never been a more interesting time to talk about cars because of these huge changes they're going through. So no, we're not going to run out of ideas. It's a great time to do it.
Does it start with we really want to drive this car? Do we really want to go to this location?
Can do. It can start with a specific car, a type of car, a piece of technology, a plan, a problem, a place, a scheme. Honestly, it can come from anywhere.
Is there anything you're looking forward to driving in particular that you haven't yet?
Well, next year, product-wise, there's not going to be massive amounts of new stuff, because the manufacturers are all working on their electric cars, hybrid cars, which are held back for the year after. So, I'm looking forward to the next Discovery. I'm looking forward to the next Land Rover Defender. The Gen 2 GT3 RS, I have a Gen 1, 991. There's always stuff to be interested in driving. But I think for the next few years, it's probably the year after, there'll be some really big ones come out. But we'll see. Your Ford GT, I'd quite like to have a crack in that. That'll be fun.
That one looks pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is a beautiful looking thing.
So, can you tell us anything about season 2?
Nope.
Oh.
We'll finish season 1. We've still got 3 more studios to do.
Okay.
So then we wrap that in the next 2-3 weeks. And then we will be straight, day after we get back from the last shoot, which is in Dubai, back to London, back into the office, sit down, right, clean sheet, let's plan next year. There'll be learning to take from this year, I hope. Of course there will. We are trying new stuff. So we hope that some of it people go, don't like that. If they don't, we're not trying hard enough. So we should be pushing it a bit. So hopefully there'll be learning to take from this season and apply next year.
And the studios are all in different locations. You were in California for the first one, Johannesburg for the next one, and where else are you heading to?
We've been to Finland, Holland, Germany, Nashville. We've just done a couple in Scotland, Whitby in North Yorkshire in the UK, Dubai. There's a lot of the world that can roll around season by season and keep popping up. We felt that was it's an incredibly expensive and technically demanding exercise, but it gives it a uniqueness, a USP, that I think makes it tremendous. It really does work. And the tent already, that's our place. It feels like our home. It feels special when we're in there. We love it.
So definitely very impressive. All right, well, thank you very much.
Welcome.